Before we dive into this story, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more inspiring tales like this one. On a bright spring day, I checked my email and discovered a message from my sister that felt like a brutal blow. The phrase socially unfit leaped out at me, as though it was etched right into the display. I'm Hannah, a 29-year-old graphic designer living in Portland, Oregon, and my sister Claire had chosen to bar me from her wedding. It seemed my reserved personality and rare slips in chatting would shame her before her fiancé's elite relatives. I remained seated, my coffee turning lukewarm, experiencing the sharp pain of being turned away by the individual who ought to have supported me. Rather than pleading for an invitation, I took a bold step. I reserved a solitary getaway to a small seaside spot named Yachits, Oregon. I had no clue that decision would upend it all. As kids, I was perpetually in the background while Claire shone brightly. She was the favored one, charismatic, self-assured, the type who could befriend a streetlight. I preferred huddling with a drawing pad or a book, most content when immersed in creativity or tales. Our folks never explicitly stated they favored Claire's vibrancy, but it was obvious. Whenever she had pals over, Mom would bake her renowned peanut butter treats, and Dad would pause all tasks to act as the perfect entertainer. On the infrequent occasions I had a guest, they'd give a brief greeting before retreating to their separate areas. Clearly, Claire's outgoing triumphs deserved fanfare, while my serene times went largely unseen. I still recall my 12th birthday vividly. I'd muster the nerve to ask a handful of classmates, my pulse racing as I distributed the invites. Mom consented to host, yet her zeal was tepid next to the lavish bashes she'd organized for Claire's overnight parties. When just two showed, I caught her chatting with my aunt in the kitchen. "I wish Hannah would make more effort to be extroverted like her sister," she remarked, her tone laced with letdown. I lingered there, holding a paper plate with untouched cake, sensing that my mere being was a disappointment. That instance lingered with me, a silent scar that never quite mended. In high school, our positions were firmly established. Claire was the standout, cheerleading captain, head of student council, the person everyone craved at gatherings. I was the creative type who lunched in the art studio, with my pair of true confidants who truly understood me. My social unease didn't aid matters, uncomfortable silences, the odd stutter around unfamiliar faces. It turned into a family gag. Hannah had another Hannah episode. Dad would quip over meals, laughing as he described my bungled chat with the postal worker. Claire would defend me at times, but occasionally she'd chime in, imitating my anxious habits with a giggle. It wasn't outright mean, just the sort of light-hearted ribbing that wounds more deeply from kin. Through it all, I cared for Claire. There were glimmers that sparked optimism, like our childhood midnight chats about aspirations, or when she confronted a tormentor who ridiculed my artwork in junior high. Following my high school ceremony, she embraced me firmly and murmured, "I'm proud of you." For an instant, I thought we might grow closer. Those brief bonds amplified the pain, though. They revealed what might have been if circumstances differed. Post-high school, Claire and I grew more distant. She ventured to a prestigious college in San Francisco, plunging into business studies and sorority activities that suited her allure perfectly. I remained nearer to home, joining a state university with an excellent design curriculum. For the first time, I discovered my tribe, eccentric creators who prized concepts over chit-chat. My calm concentration turned into an asset during critiques, and my precision made me the preferred collaborator for team assignments. I finished with distinction and secured a remote position at a digital agency, crafting sites from my snug Portland space. It was ideal, no obligatory workplace banter, just the artistic tasks I adored. Meanwhile, Claire was dominating San Francisco's business scene at a premier firm. Our interactions shrank to festive phone chats and sporadic family meetups, where the familiar pattern resurfaced. Claire would captivate all with accounts of her lavish existence. Dinners with clients in Paris, mingling with tech tycoons. My parents would absorb every detail, while my news of a fresh logo or site rollout earned courteous acknowledgments before talk circled back to her. I'd depart those suppers feeling like an afterthought in my own kin group. When Claire encountered Caleb a couple years ago at an upscale benefit event, things shifted dramatically. Caleb hailed from an affluent Bay Area clan, leading a tech venture that dwarfed Claire's professional realm. Their love story resembled a film. Weekends on exclusive boats, excursions to Napa, images in upscale social publications. I was truly delighted when she phoned to reveal their betrothal. "Hannah, it's real," she exclaimed, her tone effervescent with joy. "You'll adore the spot Caleb selected." For a second, I caught the childhood pet name she once used, Hanny, and it seemed like we were young again, sharing visions. I believed her nuptials could mend our connection, allowing me to display the assured person I'd evolved into. That optimism sustained me for weeks. I envisioned us giggling at her event, perhaps sharing a tender sibling exchange. I rang her after receiving the save the date, a beautiful card for their ceremony at the Nines Hotel in Portland. "It's gorgeous, Claire," I commented, overcoming my typical call jitters. "Can I assist with anything? Perhaps craft some programs or a site for the occasion?" There was a hesitation, then her reply, courteous yet aloof. "That's kind, Hannah, but Caleb has an elite coordinator managing it all." I attempted once more weeks later, suggesting coffee when she visited Portland. "I'd enjoy reconnecting," I offered. "Gosh, I'm overwhelmed," she answered, her excuse appearing practiced. "Next visit, I swear." By wintertime, I tried half a dozen ways to join her preparations, each dismissed with weaker reasons. Yet, upon the official invite's arrival, a spark of thrill emerged. I laid out the cards on my kitchen surface. Welcome meal, vows, brunch, appreciating the refined layout. But as I hunted for my name, dread filled me. No response card, no reference to me at all. Assuming an error, I dialed Claire. "Hey, I received the invite," I stated, my tone unsteady. "I believe my response card is absent." The quiet on her side dragged on. "No error, Hannah," she responded, her manner abrupt. "Caleb's relatives are selective, and we face difficult decisions." "You're excluding me from your wedding?" I inquired, the phrase seeming unreal. "It's complex," she noted. "I'll clarify via email." The following day, her note came through, stark and impersonal. "Hannah, this wasn't simple," it started. "Caleb's kin is prominent, and your social challenges would be conspicuous. Your discomfort in large crowds, your issues with casual conversation, it'd be spotted, and I can't chance you reflecting poorly on us. This is my occasion, and it must be flawless." Every term struck like a blade, cutting through decades of striving to demonstrate my value. My kin had always downplayed my social unease, and now it justified my removal from my sister's world. Tears flowed swiftly, clouding the monitor as I reread Claire's words. It wasn't merely the disinvitation. It was how she'd cataloged my shortcomings like proof in a case, as if my core self was a burden. I contacted my parents, seeking fury, someone to champion me. Instead, Mom's tone was gentle yet accepting. "We're upset as well, dear, but it's Claire's event. She's facing immense strain from Caleb's side. You were aware?" I questioned, my voice faltering. "She informed us last month," Dad confessed. "We attempted to dissuade her, but it's her decision." "And you're attending anyway?" I murmured. "Naturally," Mom affirmed, as though it was evident. "She's our child." The statement lingered. "She's our child." As if I weren't. I lost my appetite, couldn't rest. That evening, I stayed up reliving each clumsy instance from youth. Stumbling over phrases at the store, stiffening at kin gatherings, pondering if I truly was the disgrace Claire viewed me as. On the third day, the sorrow morphed into something fiercer, more rebellious. I fired up my computer, its light illuminating my dim space, and hunted for tranquil seaside escapes. That's when I spotted it, a quaint cabin in Yatchits, Oregon, open for precisely Claire's wedding dates. It was spot-on blue wooden exterior, views to the sea, a secluded trail to the shore. Without pause, I reserved it for 5 evenings, sensing a surge of sorrow and liberation. As the booking confirmation landed, I shared with just one soul, my closest pal Mia, a writer from college days who resided in Eugene. Mia was the friend who regarded my reticence as an advantage, not a defect. When I recounted Claire's message, her tone bristled with fury on the line. That's inexcusable, she declared. And your folks are simply accepting it. They believe I should get it, I replied, resentment seeping through. It's her big day. Her big day doesn't entitle her to crush you, Mia retorted. Need me to join you in Yatchits? We could host our own bash. I grinned, touched by her devotion. I need to do this alone, I told her. But I'll message daily so you know I'm fine. In the week prior to departure, I immersed in preparations. I compiled a roster titled Yatchit's Healing Getaway. Strolling seaside paths, drawing near the waves, diving into saved books. I acquired a fresh notebook, trail boots, and a waterproof coat, each by igniting a bit of anticipation. In the fitting area, donning a sweater that suited me perfectly, I glimpsed my image and murmured, "You're sufficient." It seemed like a vow. I kept my plans from my parents, they'd sided with Claire, and I wasn't prepared to reveal this part of me to them. Claire fired off one more text inquiring if I'd seen her email. I left it unanswered. What could I say? The dawn I headed to Yatchits, my phone buzzed as I packed the vehicle. Mom's name appeared. I recognized it concerned the practice supper that evening. Her recording verified it. Hannah, I hope you'll rethink joining some wedding activities. It won't feel right without you. The sarcasm stung. She wasn't troubled by Claire's decision, just concerned I'd feel isolated as they rejoiced. I erased it and drove off. Heading south, the tension in my torso started easing. Upon arriving in Yatchits with the sea expanding ahead, I could inhale freely once more. The cabin surpassed the images, warm with a hearth and panoramic glass overlooking the Pacific. I settled in leisurely, relishing the stillness. That day I strolled the shore, breeze tousling my locks, surf muffling Claire's echoes. I gathered seashells, observed the dusk color the heavens in roses and golds, and sensed, for the first time in ages, that I was precisely where I belonged. Saturday dawn, Claire's wedding day. I rose to sunshine pouring through the cabin panes. Briefly, I experienced only the serenity of the seaside. Then reality struck. Today, my sister would proceed down the aisle minus me. Instead of allowing that to consume me, I embraced my getaway agenda. I practiced yoga on the porch, waves directing my inhales. Post-meal, I geared up and set out for a path offering breathtaking coastal vistas. The trek was ideal, demanding enough to engage my focus, tranquil enough for my reflections to calm. At the overlook, I perched on a boulder, munching a sandwich and noting the surrounding splendor, not the ache in Portland. I set my phone to flight mode, resolved to remain in the moment. Events at the Nines Hotel were irrelevant here. I was prioritizing myself, and it resembled a subtle uprising. I got back to the cabin late in the day, weary yet fulfilled. Following a rinse, I chose to indulge in supper at a nearby fish eatery with rave feedback. At a window seat, viewing the twilight, I experienced an odd tranquility. For once, solitude amid a bustling space didn't diminish me. I relished my dish, seared salmon, a pour of Pinot Gris, proceeding unhurriedly, not hastening to break the quiet. When the waiter suggested sweets, I selected a peach pastry without hesitation, grinning at my own treat. Returning to the cabin, I saw my phone flashing alerts. I'd overlooked it entirely, and spotting 18 unanswered calls and 30 messages halted me abruptly. My pulse quickened. Had an incident befallen my parents? I scanned Mia's recent note, call immediately. Wedding catastrophe. Before dialing, my phone rang. It was Mia. Finally, she exclaimed upon pickup. I've been reaching out all day. I was trekking, I explained, dropping onto the sofa. What's happening? Caleb abandoned Claire at the ceremony, she revealed, her tone blending astonishment and satisfaction. Like, completely no show after a massive argument. My thoughts spun. Argument over what? My cousins at the Nines and caught everything, Mia explained. Caleb's sister Sophie inquired about your absence at the practice meal, and Claire evaded. But today, Sophie pushed Caleb, and he learned Claire had barred you. He exploded, declaring he couldn't wed someone who'd shut out her own kin. I clutched the sofa, absorbing it. He was unaware. No, Mia confirmed. Claire framed it as protecting you from tension, but Caleb pierced the facade, accused her of deceit, and said it exposed her true character. My phone vibrated once more, Mom calling. I sent it to voice. My folks have been hounding me too, I informed Mia. They figure you can resolve this. She noted Claire was distraught, secluded in the bridal room, weeping for me. The recordings depicted turmoil. Mom's initial one, pre-vows, was a venue snapshot with "Wish You Were Here," overlooking the cause of my absence. Subsequent ones were desperate. Hannah, the event's canceled. Claire requires you. Please respond. Dad's usually stable tone wavered. Hannah, I know you're pained, but your sister's crumbling. She's calling for you. Then a ring from an unfamiliar line. Is this Hannah? A guy asked. Caleb here. My breath hitched. I'm so sorry, I stumbled. Don't, he insisted, his manner resolute yet gentle. I owe you regrets. I didn't know Claire left you out until Sophie informed me today. I assumed you had a scheduling clash. When I challenged Claire, she claimed your social anxiety would humiliate her. My sister Sophie deals with similar issues, and I've witnessed her efforts to handle them. Claire's stance. It revealed a facet of her I couldn't overlook. I was mute, my heart thumping with a blend of justification and sorrow. I'm sorry your day collapsed, I said at last. Better sooner than later, he countered. I just needed you to know this wasn't on you. After disconnecting, I lingered in the shadows, the sea's cadence outside echoing the chaos within. Part of me yearned to hurry to Portland and console Claire, to become the kin they abruptly desired. But another segment, the one that had roamed the shore, written amid showers, selected self, recognized that would merely drag me into the familiar harmful loop. I messaged Mia, staying a bit longer. Let my folks know I'm secure, but I'll chat upon return. Then I powered down my phone, allowing the waves to lull me to slumber. Next day, downpour hammered the cabin, echoing the unrest I anticipated in Portland. I brewed coffee and positioned by the glass, observing breakers pound the coast. My phone remained off, but I opted to respond to one earlier call from Mom. Hannah, where are you? She queried, her tone strained. On a personal journey, I replied evenly. I required distance after learning I wasn't adequate for Claire's event. There was no event, she stated, as if that nullified all. Claire's devastated. She needs you. Why only now, Mom? I pressed, my tone firm. Why do I matter suddenly when I was expendable prior? She exhaled. We all erred, Hannah. But she's your sibling. And I'm your child, I countered. I need a kin who didn't view my reserve as a defect. I'm remaining until Wednesday. Then I'll speak with Claire. She attempted to debate, but I stood resolute, concluding with an assurance to connect. Afterward, I rang Mia, who updated me on the disorder. Claire barricaded in the bridal area, attendees wandering bewildered, my parents stunned. It's pandemonium, Mia observed. But frankly, Claire caused this. That day, Caleb rang again, inquiring after me. You didn't need to, I noted. We're unknowns. Not quite, he replied. Your experience struck me deeply. Sophie's faced comparable criticism. At times, you must allow folks to confront the repercussions of their actions. His insight lingered, affirming that my limits weren't egotistical, they were essential. Across the following pair of days, I embraced Yatchet's flow. I wandered the shore through the drizzle, permitting the fierce conditions to reflect my feelings. I packed my notebook with reflections on Claire, my parents, and me. How I devoted years attempting to earn their esteem, only to grasp I must esteem myself foremost. On my final evening, Claire texted, Mom mentioned you're returning Wednesday. Can we connect? I'll go wherever. I answered, Stumptown Coffee Roasters, Thursday, 10 a.m. She replied swiftly, Thanks, Hannah. The return drive to Portland felt altered, more serene, more resilient. I arranged my seaside finds, shells, a driftwood fragment, placing them on my ledge as a token of my value. Next dawn, Mia visited with morning eats, her embrace steadying me. You seem changed, she remarked. More authentic. I chuckled. Yet I sensed it, a subtle assurance I'd never realized I could hold. At Stumptown, I got there ahead, picking a nook spot. Claire entered precisely at 10, appearing unlike her norm, barefaced, hair tousled in a bun, in a simple sweatshirt. Hannah, she uttered, her voice fracturing. Thanks for seeing me. I nodded, pointing to the seat. Coffee. She declined, eyes already moist. I'm deeply sorry, she blurted. Barring you was mistaken. No justification. Why, Claire? I queried, tone balanced. She gazed at her fingers. I convinced myself it was for Caleb's kin, but that's false. I envied you. Always did. You know your identity. You've created an authentic existence, not a show. I've chased validation forever, and I distanced you because you highlighted what I lack. Her admission floored me. Envied me? I echoed. You possessed it all. Companions, achievements, our parents' admiration. She brushed away a tear. It's draining, Hannah. Constant facade. You're liberated in ways I've never achieved. We converse for hours, stripping away decades of pain. I establish firm limits. No more belittling my unease. No more deeming me inferior. Claire disclosed her intent to begin counseling to unravel the perfection drive that prompted her to wound me. I don't anticipate pardon, she stated, but I aim to improve. I clasped her hand. It's not pardon yet. It's advancing anew. The following weekend, I convened with my parents. They were protective initially, claiming equal backing for us, but I remained steadfast, detailing how their bias toward Claire's outgoing nature had fueled our kin's issues. I needed you to appreciate me as is, I expressed. Gradually they heard, and we forged a tentative fresh accord. Months on, my existence felt more stable. I entered a photo group, discovering pleasure in modest, significant ties. Claire and I were mending one candid exchange per time. Caleb messaged once, noting he progressed but appreciated our dialogue. My seaside mementos remain on my ledge, a soft cue that prioritizing myself sparked it all. Thanks for hearing my tale. If it struck a chord, please tap that like icon and subscribe for additional paths to uncovering your power. Drop your own experiences in the comments. How have you defended yourself when others overlooked your value? Your perspective counts, and I'm eager to learn it.